camera to come into
I don't think
focus.
I have a webcam. I don't think.
Where?
I don't know.
Where is he? There he is.
Yeah.
These are the great conversations when that idea of tech support comes up and you see the stories coming back in Jeremy's head of the lady who forgot to plug something in, or
Oh man, there's so many.
Some PTSD for Jeremy there.
I'll talk you through it, but
oh man, I love those commercials. Are they oh man, some insurance company where the guy's like the coach to try to coach these people to not be like their dads. And so there's like a group session. All right, now show us where the mute button is on your phone. I don't have a mute yet. It is right here. So man,
I haven't seen that.
It gets me every time. They just I've said things that remind me of my dad, and I do things like, oh man, that's like my dad, but I didn't realize how universal it is. So universal it's in an insurance commercial now. So
Yeah.
Oh man, it's funny.
Nice.
Well, welcome.
I read a book about submarines, and I'm like, oh no, that's what my dad would do.
Just some fun facts for people tuning in on the video a little bit early. What Mike does in his spare time. Watches commercials and
feel like my dad.
All right. Should we record a podcast?
All right.
If we have to.
But this is it. Just a minute and a half of pre-show, and then we're done.
Yeah.
Really, our whole job is not, anything that we have to do.
I mean, I believe at this point we are called unessential workers.
Yeah.
You didn't get a little card in the mail saying you can go where you need to go?
Here's a way to encourage America. Tell half the people they are not essential. What
Awesome.
you do doesn't matter.
Great.
All right. Let's fire up this audio here.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Greetings, everyone. We are 321 Improv. Welcome to our podcast. It's Tuesday, August 4 at noon, which means we are live on Facebook and YouTube. That's Jeremy over there in Oklahoma. Mike is up in New Hampshire. That's quite a greeting.
Yeah, finger
I'm
guns.
down here in Florida, and it's good to be back. Good to see you guys.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Noon Eastern, we have to say. For Jeremy, it's not noon.
That's right. Not yet.
I feel left out when you say that.
He's the only one.
We're in the future. We'll let you know if anything interesting happens.
Oh, thank you. Let me know in advance.
Little hurricane update for everybody. We had Hurricane Isaias rolled through here. Isaias. Some people go harder on that second E. Some people it kind of rolls together. Isaias.
I think he was in the Old Testament somewhere.
Yeah. Yes, he's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Prophesying about eagle's wings.
Yeah.
We got spared down here. We put up the hurricane shutters Saturday night. We're supposed to get this big storm blowing through, and then nothing happened. We had church on Sunday morning. Everything was good. But now, I guess a tropical storm Isaias now, right? So,
I just heard about this for the first time literally 20 minutes ago. When I realized, we're going to be getting like hurricane coming up into New Hampshire. I'm like,
I'm hearing about it right now from you guys.
There we
Not
go.
because you're not paying attention, but because it's so early in the hurricane season is why it threw you off, probably.
Probably.
That's
got to be it.
Yeah, that gets me every time.
Yeah, this one came a little bit early, a little ahead of schedule. I think it's in the D.C., Philadelphia area right now, but yeah, you could get yourself some rain and wind up there, Mike.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I need to get my hurricane shutters up.
All right, we'll put in a request for you. Where would you find hurricane shutters? I think up there it's a piece of plywood, right?
Oh, I don't know.
He's like, I'm not even sure if they are shutters. I don't know.
I've got like construction paper in the craft room.
Paper mache. You're just going to paper mache your windows.
I don't know. That's what I got.
The place we're at in Florida now, the shutters are so easy, man. You just move them out, screw them together. It takes 5 minutes. It's beautiful.
Nice. There you go. So you can wait longer before getting prepared.
Yep, I waited till before I went to bed Saturday night, and then
Excellent.
It was still unnecessary. Let's look back at this week in 321 history. There's some good ones on the list this week.
Oh,
all right. Let's see. First week of August. All right.
Yeah, first week of August. This week last year. Oh, I don't know where this one was at. I was going to quiz you, but
if you don't know the answer,
Mike, if I tell you disc golf and marching band, what comes to mind?
Disc golfing when there was a marching band.
do you remember what that event was?
That was the.
I feel like it was in.
No,
Indiana?
I know this. It was the.
Jeremy's got it. Maybe.
Where you put change in their little buckets where they ring the bell.
The Salvation Army.
Salvation Army.
Oh yeah, there was the Salvation Army music camp.
Yeah, Salvation Army music camp. Where was that? Was that like in New York or Pennsylvania or something? I don't remember where we were.
Oh
But
yeah.
me and Mike were out playing disc golf at this big camp, and all of a sudden we hear a marching band playing like worship music. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was a unique atmosphere for disc golf for sure.
I specifically remember that one because that was the show where my face started swelling up in a matter of 2 days, and then I had to have that emergency root canal.
That's right.
That's right. And that's why you weren't disc golfing.
That's why I wasn't disc golfing.
Because you were
I was like swollen and in pain.
Or the sun was out.
Well,
that will also scare him off.
That's always a threat.
And then the other thing that happened there was we were in the big gathering at night before we performed, and there was like this conductor guy there who had written a new piece of music, and he passed it out to several hundred people, and they all started singing 4-part harmonies, and we were sitting there completely intimidated. Yeah. Wow, these people are musically gifted, and we are not.
Yeah, we could not contribute anything to that.
No, not really.
That was crazy. Another one in August, we spent some time out by Lake Tahoe. We go to, there's a church out there, Sierra Fellowship, but there's a camp in California, and then we do a show at the church over in Nevada. Been there a couple of times. That's got great disc golf too at that camp.
That's true. Frisbee golf, I think, technically, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah. How dare you?
That's one that it's covered in the tall pine trees. So Jeremy will take several rounds of that because it's all shady.
It's very shady.
They're all like a nice close, but it's not too easy. It's a great course out there.
Yeah.
One night at like midnight, we dragged the rocking chairs off our porch out into that open field to look at the stars.
We did. Yeah, we're in the middle of nowhere.
Lots of stars. And then the other one this time of year that I found from a few years ago, we used to do the Frenchman River Gospel Jam up in Saskatchewan. Yeah. Shaunavon, Saskatchewan.
Shaunavon.
We one year we opened for the Oak Ridge Boys, and one year we opened for Ricky Skaggs. Mike, what was your memory? I just remember Ricky Skaggs, like he was basically preaching in the green room. He was great country singer.
Yeah, it was a little bit of prayer time,
Christian
but
guy.
he cut the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But you remembered the requirement from the manager.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, because we were charged with introducing him, right? Like that was our responsibility, and so I think the manager came to us and said, it's not Ricky Skaggs. You need to introduce them as Ricky Skaggs and the Kentucky Thunder because that's the group name. If you just do Ricky Skaggs, then the guys get mad. We leave. We're like, oh, okay, all right,
yeah,
we got it.
Can't leave the band out of the announcement. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a good one. The Hunter brothers running the Frenchman River Gospel Jam up there. Those guys were great.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
bunch of hockey players who could sing. That's one where I got to drive that giant tractor.
Oh
yeah, we got to go to the Hunter brothers farm.
Yeah, it didn't have tires. It had like big treads like a tank.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing.
Like the cockpit, whatever you call it, the place where you operate it from was like 3 times your height. Like you had to climb up to it. Yeah,
that was amazing. All right, we got to talk to Gray for a second here. Gray's here from the Fuego family.
Mm-hmm. Gray.
Gray's confused. We mentioned frisbee golf, and Gray is saying you can't call it that, but we're making the specification that we have played both. We played disc golf. We also play frisbee golf where you do use a whammo frisbee and you hit a pole. You don't put the disc into the basket. So once again, here we are educating Gray.
There we go.
You're welcome.
But we'll still let him buy our lunch. If we're at Kuyans, we call Gray up. He stops over, helps us pick some good menu items on in the bayou there. It's a good time.
That's some good eats.
Is there a bad menu item?
I don't think there are.
Not to be found yet.
Not yet.
All right. The focus on the podcast today, we interview Mike.
Yes.
Are we ready for this?
Rapid fire questions.
Rapid fire. Jeremy, do you want to start? You look
My
like you have
job
something
is on the line.
What's your favorite bubble gum?
The cinnamon, Big Red.
All right.
Good call.
Now you, Carl.
Well, I figure since we're interviewing Mike, we have to start with presidential trivia, right?
Oh,
Mike's
right,
the
right,
expert on presidential trivia because of his presidential placemat.
An expert.
And look at this one that I
25
found.
years ago.
I have never heard this before. James A. Garfield could write with both hands at the same time in different languages.
What?
That's amazing.
That seems made up. That sounds like
Mike's not
like
mine.
John Bunyan or Paul Bunyan. Which one was the
Yes.
one of them wrote Pilgrim's Progress.
John Paul Bunyan.
John Paul Bunyan, JP.
All right, Mike,
Sounds like one of his tall tales.
what does the S in Harry S. Truman stand for?
Sherman.
Jeremy?
Oh, I thought this was Mike's thing.
You're going to need to help him on some of these.
Samuel.
No, nothing. I think it's just an S. It
What?
doesn't stand for
tricked me.
Trick
It
question.
doesn't have a middle name.
You
It just has a
tricked
middle
me.
initial. Who is the only president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms?
That is Grover Cleveland.
Nice.
The Grove.
The presidential
Grove.
placemat came through.
Ooh, all right.
Oh, great. All right. And what does, a lot of people have collections. A lot of people collect different things. What does Barack Obama collect?
Porcelain cats.
What?
Wow. What a great guess. But
That's what I remember. That's what I remember from my
I'm so
presidential
sorry.
place.
Jeremy, this one's in your wheelhouse.
Oh.
Do you know what Barack Obama collects?
Magic the Gathering cards?
Like, I don't know, maybe like what would it be? Star Wars figurines?
Comic books.
Oh, he collects
Yeah.
comic books?
Yeah.
All right.
My
Yeah.
man.
I mean, according to the internet, it's got to be true, right? So, Mike, you grew up in New Hampshire, right?
I did.
What?
And
Yeah, Jeremy's going to learn so much.
Whoa.
Jeremy's going to be challenging some of these things too. I don't believe it. And then you went to college at Cedarville in Ohio.
I did.
So how
People
did you
often ask, like, yeah, right, like, how'd you end up in Ohio?
Yeah, how did that
I honestly
connect
don't
you?
even have a great answer for that. I mean, I knew I just didn't want to stay in New Hampshire. I wanted to, like, take the opportunity to travel somewhere. So I chose a cornfield in the middle of Ohio. Something exotic.
Year.
For the scenery.
Something crazy. But yeah, no, I knew I wanted a Christian college, and people from my high school had gone there, and I enjoyed it. It was a good fit for me.
And then you did some acting stuff at Cedarville. Had you done acting before you got to Cedarville, or?
Yeah, I did some in high school,
Okay.
but it was a lot of musicals, and I was like, I don't really like the musicals, so I did some straight plays there. But fortunately, in college, there was a wider selection of kind of opportunities there.
More opportunities. That's good. Is it true that some of if people have seen the 3-2-1 Improv show, they've probably seen Mike act like an animal. He does a lot of animal impressions. Is it true that you studied for animal impressions by watching Animal Planet?
That is true in some cases, and there has been some mirror time where, a llama comes up often enough, and then watching llamas like on a nature show or something, I was like, oh man, they got like their bottom, they got like a big underbite. I was like, oh, I haven't done that before. So then I was like, I got the ears. I was like,
Nice.
there you go. All right, so it's a craft you have to hone.
Yeah. Yeah.
This quarantine, man, I'm coming out with a whole new menagerie of animals.
We talked about that before, because you get a suggestion from an audience member, and you'd be like, "Oh, I'm not really familiar with that one," so you'd do it the best you could, and then if the story was, you'd go back and watch Animal Planet to research a little bit and brush up on that one.
Yeah, but the chances of an okapi coming up next time is slim to none, so it's not really worth the time. But just in case.
Nice.
You can always tell the people who watch their nature shows.
Yes.
And they say, an axolotl. I'm like, okay, great.
They call you out. I always like the story of, before you started with 3-2-1, when we met, you and your wife were traveling around the country in a van, setting up equipment for high school assemblies.
Yeah.
And literally living on the road, right? Like,
we lived out of suitcases. We were in a hotel room every night and going from hotel to school, in our van. Yeah. No apartment, no home base.
And you guys talked about, like, normally when I would talk to people about joining 321, there was the idea of, okay, now we're going to be away from home a lot, we're traveling. You guys looked at it completely different.
Oh yeah, yeah. So like when it was got the green light to join the team, I was like, so just to be clear, like we can actually like live in one place. It's like, oh yeah, you just got to get to an airport. It's like, oh, okay, so we can have an apartment. Yeah, oh
Easy
great,
mode.
let's do it. We get to settle down and start traveling full time. That'll be great.
Nice. And what was the story about? You even still had wedding gifts stored
Oh yeah,
somewhere, right?
I mean
unopened?
we got married in July, and then August we started that school trip job. So yeah, we didn't even open our wedding gifts. They just stayed in storage in Michigan for 2 years.
Yeah, because you did that job for like 2 years, right?
Yeah. So then once we started 321, then it was kind of like a wedding shower all over again. Oh, look, a toaster.
But what if you had gotten like a radio FM transmitter, something that you could have played something that would have helped on your travels?
Oh man, this would have been great.
I wish we had opened these presents 2 years ago.
You
a
open them
GPS? What? I've been using an Atlas this whole time.
There's a TomTom in there, and you're like, oh, man. Could have been using this the whole time. So, and Mike, I think a lot of people are aware of this. Mike's also behind the games that we sell at our shows, which
They got a couple there. Yeah.
Sometimes he's in front of them too.
Yes,
it's true. I'm all over.
We Mike's done a lot of stuff with games in the past, and we spend a lot of time, just kind of talking through ideas. I remember just sitting in rental cars, and Mike would go, "Okay, what do you guys think of this?" And he would like pitch a game idea to us, and we'd
be like, "That sucks."
No.
Jeremy would wake up from his nap and go, "Denied," and then go back to sleep. Come up with another idea.
Yeah, it's such a great merch item. It's so like, you don't see those anywhere when you go to conferences and other events. Like people don't have games, but it seems to fit what we do. It's good for families. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you had to come up with something that was easy to travel with, so because we can't bring.
That was the biggest thing. Yeah, to make it travel well.
I'm Weird the game. You get some strange suggestions, and you've got to solve a problem or answer a question with the suggestion you've given. And now we have the Clue Crew game. My daughter and I play this game. This is a good one. You get to ask. You're a detective. You get to ask for what are the three clues? You can ask for a video clue,
audio clue, video clue, or a photograph.
To help you solve the mystery of who is the criminal or where did it happen. Yeah. Good times. So a lot of that comes from Mike's brain of him sitting around trying to think up games that are easy to put into a box like that and travel with. So that's a major contribution that Mike makes to the group off stage. And then recently you decided to write a book.
Yeah, just decided. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. So how long ago was that now that you started this project? A year ago?
I started in November 2018, so it's like a year, almost 2 years when it became like, all right, I'm going to do this. Before it was kind of floating around for a while, but it was.
What was the beginning of the idea? Where did it come from that you decided, okay, I'm gonna write a book?
Oh yeah, just from doing improv, with 321 this whole time, and realizing like the stuff that makes improv work and like what makes us having fun and keep things rolling are the same sort of things that actually help you deal with when plans change and unexpected things happen. Because we talk at the end of our shows. We even have a shirt, right? How life is unscripted, and so recognizing, we don't have a script to follow in life, and so how do we manage that? Well, we do the same sort of things we do with an improv, and so like real basic. It's just accepting the reality. Like when we go on stage, we accept, all right, if Jeremy says something, that's what we're going with. We're behind him, we're supporting him, and then not just letting Jeremy carry the whole thing, although he could, but we add our own things and contribute. So it's like it's improv classes and stuff. They'll teach you yes and you don't have to say yes and when you do it, but it's those attitudes of like accepting what's true and then adding something to it, and so the book kind of dives into that quite a bit more and adds some other skills that apply. It takes the, I was looking at early on writing the book about Jesus's life, and like looking at Jesus' life, he gets interrupted like all the time. Like there's this section in Luke where it's like one interruption after the next, and it's crazy. And but he's not like complaining. He's not like thrown off at all. And like, what is he doing? And it's looking at it, he's actually doing these improv principles, really. So he's like the master improviser. So it was kind of cool to dig into that a little bit and unpack that. So it's been fun to combine my two passions of improv and the Bible.
Yeah. What is there like a main message that you hope people will get out of the book? Is there like a kind of an overarching theme or a main thought that you want people to focus on or see from it?
Yeah, I want people to be able to recognize their interruptions. And hey, in 2020, we all have interruptions and changes of plans, right? It's kind of ridiculous that the timing of the book is this. And so I want people to be able to recognize these interruptions as opportunities and actually as invitations that God is offering to draw you closer to himself, and it's not about getting back on track or back the way things were, but making those little decisions each day to go closer to Jesus through them, because I think he's just like overseeing the whole field, right? And just guiding us. We don't get to see the whole big picture, but if we do that, we accept that and accept God's will as bigger and better than our own, and we contribute what value we have and our attitudes toward that, I think then that's what I hope people can recognize is turn these interruptions into opportunities.
And it's called Thrown Off Script.
It is. It's called Thrown Off Script. It's bright and yellow. You can't miss it. There
Nice.
It is.
Excellent. And Jeremy's already read it. You said 4 times so far. This is kind of his daily routine now.
Yeah.
Wake up, get a good run in, read Mike's book.
I mostly
maybe one day I'll sign it for you, Jeremy.
Sometimes I narrow it down. I would just read like one part, specifically the part where my name is mentioned. I'm like, there it is. That's me.
So you don't have a lot of context about the entire book. Your focus is mainly on that part.
Right.
Nice.
Jeremy's great. Yeah, I like it.
Somebody asked me recently, they were talking about like all the time that we often talk about sitting in rental cars together and driving around, and somebody wanted to know how the music works. And is there music that we agree on when we're in the car together? My first thought, what do you guys
rap.
think? What was that?
Gangsta rap, obviously.
Right. We have multiple videos, I think, on Instagram of Micah Tyler playing in the rental car.
That's true.
Some where we're celebrating, some where Jeremy's sleeping through it, and we like to point it out to Micah that he wasn't even listening.
Your music just puts him to sleep. He doesn't even care.
Yeah.
So I think Micah Tyler and K-Love brings us together. I'm thinking of 2 bands from the past, or two artists from the past in particular that we all kind of meet together on. Do you guys have the same thought?
Boston
is one. Jeremy?
And
Journey?
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
I
that's
wasn't
good.
thinking of that.
Queen.
Oh, right. Jeremy's a big fan of Queen. We can, we listen to some Queen in the car. I was thinking Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson.
We
Yeah,
band.
We can all come together on Michael Jackson.
He not a band.
Oh, yeah, and that's why I switched to artist. I call it myself.
In the fancy rental cars, you can have it like alert you, right, when a certain artist or band comes up on anything.
I feel like we've only had that feature like once.
I know. On satellite radio, if you get the upgraded radio, you can put in alerts, and you can tell it like anytime Boston is playing on any channel, let me know, and then you
it'll
can
flip over to that. Yeah,
that was great, but we don't get it nearly enough.
Put it in the rider.
So, Mike, on this topic of music, then I wanted to dig in this a little bit. I think we've talked about this before. Mike, well, let's do it quiz style. Jeremy, when Mike has to put on the headphones and listen to music, what style music is Mike listening to?
It's Swedish rap, right?
Yeah, Swedish hip hop. Yes,
Swedish hip hop.
Yeah. So anytime, like a lot of times, if the venue's too big and we can't leave the stage, but we're also not supposed to hear what's going on the stage, we'll just put in earbuds and listen to some loud music so we can't hear. And then we realized at one point, Mike shared with us that he's listening to Swedish hip hop. So
yeah, it's loud. It's in your face. I have no idea what they're saying.
Where did this come from? Like, where did this idea come from? How did you learn about Swedish hip hop? How did this become your go-to? We need some details here.
Okay, let's see. So I was actually coaching somebody in acting once, and the scene involved one of the guys playing Swedish hip hop. And so to be a good coach, I'm like, let me just find some Swedish hip hop and play the song. And then I'm like, oh no, this is actually pretty cool. All right, no, I dig it. So then it stayed on my phone, and now it's my go-to stage music. I got the censored version though, just in case I happen to learn
version of the language you can't understand.
I don't understand anything, but I don't want there to be any bad words that I might learn.
That was your fear. What if someday I get to find out this is all a bunch of trash I'm listening to?
Yeah, what if I'm just like, singing along with it, and there's like a Swedish pastor next to me. He's like, whoa.
Wait, do you find yourself singing along with it in Swedish?
Not lately.
Or more like humming, or
it goes too fast for me. I've got old-fashioned ears, Carl. I can't even keep up with DJ Promote. There's no way I can keep up with the Swedish hip hop.
Jeremy often refers to you as an old soul. I think you've called him the grandfather of the group.
Yeah,
it's true. Pardon me while I sip my tonic water.
Yeah, what brought is it? It's the early bedtime and the constant drinking of hot tea, I think.
Tea, bedtime, he's going to bed at like 9 sometimes. When we're at Fuego, a lot of times that we have that midnight meal, he's almost never there because it's far too late for him to stay up.
It's a big, people are like,
where's Mike? And I'm like, he's an old soul. He's going to bed. He's been asleep for 2 hours now.
The benefit of that, though, is when I do decide to stay up for the meal and show up at midnight, everyone's like, Mike is here. That's a great reaction. This is great. I'm wanted. So it's a supply and demand.
I've got a couple of quarantine questions for you to wrap up here. All right. What was your worst job ever? This is it's a dangerous question.
3, 2, 1.
Well, let me tell you, 9 years. Oh, you know what? I can't say that I had a worse job. I worked at my grandparents' bookstore, Christian bookstore. That wasn't a bad job.
That's not bad. Yeah.
I worked at an assisted living in the kitchen, doing dishes and handing out food, but that should be my worst job. But I actually liked that. And the hardest job may have actually been informally working for my father-in-law the summer before my wedding, trying to get his yard cleaned up, ready for the ceremony or the reception that was going to be there. And I had these giant waders on, and I was like pulling these giant rocks out of the water that had fallen and making a wall with them. And then the added pressure of like, you're going to marry my daughter. You better prove yourself as a good, hard worker. So that was hard. It wasn't the worst job, but that was the toughest one for sure.
Fortunately, he doesn't listen to or watch the podcast, so you're safe.
No, but my mother-in-law does. So. Jeremy can edit that out, right?
You have a worst job ever, Jeremy?
I worked as a video editor for the local news for a year. And I did not care for it. You seem to have some. I feel like you blocked out some of the memories of that one. Well, my memory's not great, so I blocked out a lot of things, I guess.
I was trying to think. I was like Mike. I was going through some old jobs, thinking about ones that I probably shouldn't have been great, but I think I kind of enjoyed them. The one I thought of, I worked on a farm for a little while when I was in high school, like baling hay and feeding animals, and I didn't enjoy that one.
Yeah, I feel like there's a difference between it's not necessarily a bad job, right? But it's just like it's not my skill set necessarily.
Yeah, not a good fit. I mean, I think I was injured on that one a couple of times, so that may bring some of the bad memories. Oftentimes people talk about a bucket list. Do you guys have a bucket list?
Ooh.
And do you want to share anything that's on your bucket list?
Go to Hawaii. That's my 50th state.
Oh yeah,
it's there.
49?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So I'd say that just to be able to cross off that list of states, that'd be fun.
We play the game Ticket to Ride, where you build trains across the country on a giant board that's like a map. When I made it to Montana, Montana was my 50th state. When I made it to Montana, Mike and his wife got me gold-plated trains for the Ticket to Ride game. It's a good time. Still have that set of trains.
Excellent. Hopefully the paint isn't chipping off too bad.
No, it's doing well.
Oh, excellent.
Jeremy, do you have a bucket list?
Yeah, like the X3000, the BU 820.
Good buckets.
These are good buckets.
Yeah, they hold water
I
pretty
hope
well.
to get them all
Good
one
capacity.
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Complete the collection.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Various sizes. Yeah.
That'll be good. I feel like mine are always related to travel kinds of things. For a while, I was trying to get to Montana, my 50th state. And then now I tell my dad I've been to 52 because I include Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands just to up my lead over him a little bit more.
Sure.
So I call it 52. And then after that, my next goal was I was trying to get to El Paso. I had looked at the list of largest cities in America, and El Paso was the largest city in America that I hadn't been to. And then we knocked that off the list last year.
Yeah, we got to. Did we fly into it or we drive through it?
Yeah, because we must have. Jeremy must have come in later. I remember me and you, Mike, went and got some Mexican food. Jeremy's not a big Mexican food fan, so we went to found a place before he landed.
Yeah, that's right.
Checked El Paso off the list. Now I looked. I think Riverside, California, is now the largest city in America that I haven't been to. It's getting harder to. They start to kind of blend together.
They start to just be suburbs of metropolitan areas, right? So it's like, well.
So now I think the bigger one for me then is I've performed in 47 states. So we need to get a show in Vermont, Wyoming, and Utah.
Good luck.
Those are the 3 states I hadn't performed. So if you're listening and you're in Vermont, Wyoming, or Utah, we would like to do a show there. So
I'm sure we can make a discount possible for those, right?
We can make some sort of arrangement.
The bucket list discount.
Mike, thanks for letting us peek into your life a little bit there. Thanks for sharing things that are going on. Thanks for giving us an update on the book. And next week, we talk to Jeremy. And all the answers are going to be made up stuff like he gave us on the quiz today.
It's going to be great.
Mike,
I did want to give a shout out. What's that?
I was going to say, Mike, where can we find this book?
Oh, that's a good question, Jeremy. You can find it on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, anywhere you find books.
Are you supposed to hold it up there by your face again?
Sorry, I'm doing this. You can find the book on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, anywhere you buy books. There's also an audiobook if you don't want to have this bunch of paper somewhere. You can find that.
That's me, right? I narrated it?
No, I thought you were going audiobook.
Oh.
So you don't have to read it.
Well, man, I would love for Jeremy to narrate something. That'd be awesome. His voicemail alone, I just call in just to listen to sometimes. No, hang up! I don't want to listen to you. I want to listen to your voicemail.
Before we go, I wanted to give one more shout out. There's a guy named Jonathan Isaac who plays for the Orlando Magic of the NBA. I thought it was cool this week. He had an opportunity to speak at a post-game press conference, and he used that opportunity to talk about Jesus and the impact that the Bible has had on his life. And I reminded me of it when you were talking, Mike, about that idea of being able to combine your passions. You know, like we do improv. We often talk about the true joy that comes in a relationship with Jesus. I'm sure when you're a basketball player, the idea of melding your passion for Jesus along with what you do maybe is a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, it can't be
he had the opportunity in that press conference and used it to bring glory to the name of Jesus. And so I just thought that was a cool thing for him to do. And hopefully we'll all be able to do that, right? And be obedient and use those opportunities that God gives us to share. Like I said, at our shows, we talk about the fact that there's temporary happiness everywhere. We can put our faith in things and we'll get that temporary happiness for a little while and then it'll fade away. But if we put our hope and trust in Jesus, we get that true joy that can only come from a relationship with him. So I thought that was cool to see that from Jonathan Isaac of the Orlando Magic.
Awesome.
That's all the time we have for this week. Thank you for listening and or watching, everybody. We will talk to you again next week. This podcast ends in 3, 2, 1.
All right. We're clear.
Nice. That makes it sound official. That's a wrap.
I just realized, true to Mike form, I've got like a bunch of liquids to consume here.
Nice. Mike, do you know Kay? She's got a comment about your father-in-law there.
Oh, yes. No, I don't know her, but yes, it did feel like Jacob having to work.
Right. Gotcha. It's a reference.
Yep. like worked 7 years and
Yeah,
like, all right, finally, give me my
How about-
wife. And they're like, here you go. I did have to make sure that my wife didn't have a sister or anything. It's like, there's nothing going on here, right? Yep.
Yeah, that's a dirty trick. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We appreciate you sitting in and watching and hanging out with us while we record the podcast. We appreciate your support and hope you have a great week.